Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Robin with a Y and says, our neighbours have been having pool parties at our pool while we're not home for years. A few years ago, my husband and I purchased a house with a pool. Now we're acquainted with most of our neighbours, but definitely not close friends with any of them. They all seem nice, but well, just don't have much in common other than where we live. Next door to the right is a family of 6. Twin daughters attending their local university, high school age son and a young elementary school age daughter, maybe first or second grade, and the parents. Now normally we would open the pool in early May and leave it open until the end of October. But this year our weather was off and we had a very cool and very wet month of May, and then June went straight to the 100+ temperatures. I'm currently on a medication that makes it difficult for me to tolerate being in the sun and heat for an extended period of time. Plus, we have been helping 2 extended family members who are having health issues. So because of this, we haven't had our pool opened yet this year. Normally we go to the family lake house for a week during each of the 3 major holidays, but we didn't go for Memorial Day because there was flooding around the lake this year, and because a family member was just discharged from the hospital yesterday. And July 4th being a Thursday this year, we decided to stay home this week and be available to help this family member. Now, several times in June, the little girl next door has seen either my husband or myself outside, and she has asked when we're opening the pool. We first told her maybe later, but the last time, yesterday, she asked and I said, we're probably just not going to open it this year, and she started crying. Now, we have never had any of the neighbours over to use our pool, so I didn't understand why she was crying over us not opening our pool. Well, I spoke with a neighbour on the left later, and apparently our neighbours on the right have been having small family parties at our pool every 4th of July when we're gone. They've always cleaned up really well afterwards, and because we have scheduled pool maintenance and weekly yard service, occasionally things are moved around in our yard, and we never thought much about it. The neighbour on the left thought we'd given the other neighbours permission to use our pool. We did give them permission to retrieve any balls or toys that ended up in our yard, but never permission to use our pool, especially when we are not at home. We have a special latch on the gate, and my husband did show the neighbour how to open the gate to retrieve his kids' toys. So now my husband, who loves gadgets, is going to have several more cameras installed around the exterior of our house, covering the gate and pool area, and have the gate latch made where we can grant remote access for the pool service and yardmen. Luckily, we have a friend who does cameras and home automation systems. I'm annoyed our neighbours have been using our pool without permission, but my husband is happy I'm letting him get more gadgets around the house. Now, do we confront the neighbours and let them know we know they've been using our pool, or just wait and see if they say anything about our new security cameras? Now, I'm going to steer away from the legalities of this one because there's always a lot of stuff talking about insurance and, protecting your pool because of insurance purposes, etc. And I'm sure that'll be covered in the comments. But without thinking too much about the legalities, petty me would say, let them get in the pool, have them recorded, so then you can use that as evidence of some sort. Again, probably not the right way to go about it, but petty me's thinking that way. But the absolute audacity for this to even cross your mind in the first place, I always find it mind-blowing. But St. Joe says, I had this problem. When I left town, I put up a warning sign that stated the pool was being chemically treated and it was dangerous. Of course, I did no such thing. All I did was put up a sign. One day I got a call from an ER because someone snuck into the pool and claimed they were injured by the chemicals. I told the doc they were faking it, as the only thing I put up was the sign. Cali Pirate says, lawyer here, though not yours. You need to put up no trespassing signs. Tell your neighbours they're not allowed on your property without explicit permission and change the lock on the gate. Now that you know, you're on notice and could be held liable if they're injured visiting your pool. Sucks, but it will be much less trouble than a lawsuit. Neo says, I don't know what would be more fun. To tell them up front to not use the pool, or to not say anything and the next time you find them on camera using your pool, just calling the police for trespassers on your property to surprise them. Improvement Far says, get them on cam, call the police. There is more to it than the fact that they're on your property without permission. You are vulnerable to lawsuits if someone gets hurt or dies, especially if they think you've given them permission. So a visit from the police goes into public record and makes it clear that you did not grant permission. Should they still persist after police intervention and someone gets hurt, dies or sues for whatever reason, you have this as a defense to show you didn't want them there. They were not welcome there and they were warned once before. Do this to protect yourself. One more comment from Running Amok, who says, considering they never talked to you or asked permission to use your property, they don't deserve the courtesy of being told they can't. Make sure you have no trespassing and an area being monitored by surveillance signs. Call the police and let them handle it if they tried again. I feel sorry for the little kid who seemed excited about using it, and I'm also sorry they're learning this behavior from their parents. I wouldn't put it past them to send her over to ask you use the pool thinking you'll give in. It'd be a good time to use the soft mum voice and tell her, well, when we want to use things that don't belong to us, we have to ask permission, even as grown-ups. If you go on vacation again, depending on your local police department, you might be able to stop in and ask them to keep an eye on your property because you've had issues with people trespassing in your pool while gone. They might just have an extra patrol roll by. It's worth a shot if it helps prevent a domestic situation for them later on. So OP comes in with an update to their post and says, I didn't expect this to blow up like it has. Certainly didn't expect over 1,000 comments. I've tried to read them all and some were very creative and amusing to read. First of all, we don't want to hurt anyone or alienate our neighbors. We just don't want people using our pool without permission, and we don't want the liability associated with this activity. A few things I feel I need to clarify. Yes, our backyard is fully fenced in with 2 gates. One in back is double locked from the inside. The side gate on the side of the garage nearest the neighbors in question has a double latch that you have to reach over the top and find not 1 but 2 releases to open the gate. There is also an auto close that automatically closes the gate and latches it. I personally can't open the gate from the outside of the fence because I can't reach over that far to reach the 2 latches. The previous owner put this in and it has worked well for our yard crew and the pool maintenance people. We do have some cameras, a doorbell camera and a camera over our garage area. The garage cameras pick up if someone goes towards the gate from the front, but we didn't want to invade our neighbors' privacy by recording their side garage door and gate to their backyard. We even shared the camera angle with them because we didn't want them to be concerned about us recording their children or their comings and goings. I guess we were more concerned about their privacy than they were about ours. Anyway, the update. Thursday, July 4th morning. I was loading a few things in my vehicle to take to my cousin who just got out of the hospital. Neighbor/husband who's been gone a lot for work recently saw me and came over and asked if I was getting a late start going to the lake. I let him know that we were staying home because we are helping my cousin who just got out of the hospital. He asked if we're going to be home all weekend. I said yes, one or both of us will be around all weekend. He quickly wished me a happy 4th and went home. I went back to grab my purse and tell my husband about the conversation with the neighbor before I left. When I got home, our friend Mike was there. Mike does security cameras and home automation systems, gadgets, and my husband loves gadgets. Mike and my husband have a plan for multiple cameras and several gadgets, some of which involve us going ahead and having the pool opened. I agreed to all but one of the new cameras and almost all of the gadgets. I think husband put in some plan, knowing he would have to give up a few of them. Mike also suggested talking to our homeowner's insurance agent because we might be able to get some discounts with security upgrades. So on Friday the 5th, Tom, our insurance guy, comes over. And Mike is back and he has a drone to help him find the best camera positions. Really, I think he just wanted to show off his gadget. So husband, Mike and Tom are outside and all around the house and occasionally inside. I look outside every so often and at different times other neighbors have come outside and down to our end of the street. So neighbors want to know what's going on. The husband tells them that we're concerned that someone or several people may have used our pool without permission while we were not at home. It turns out 2 different neighbors have witnessed some friends of the neighbors' children come over last year, and they and the neighbors' twins had gone into our backyard. One neighbor even asked the girls, and they claimed that we let them come over all the time to use our pool. So at this point, husband and Tom discuss this, and Tom says we should send a registered letter to the neighbors rescinding our permission from entering our fenced-in backyard. So before Mike and Tom left, the neighbors on the right, pool party neighbors, come home. Both husband and wife. My husband asks to talk to them. with Mike and Tom as witnesses, he tells them that for insurance reasons, we are rescinding our permission for them or any member of their family or guests to enter our fenced-in backyard. And we'll be sending a registered letter stating this as requested by our insurance. Husband never accused them or their children of using our pool, but said we had reason to believe that in the past our pool had been used without our permission. He did say that we had reason to believe that their older children might be friends with someone who's been in our pool. Husband also told them that we're changing the gate to have an automated lock and cameras will be installed around the pool area. He also assured them that we avoided the cameras pointing at the windows or backyard. Husband indicated that we're taking these measures to hopefully lower our homeowners' insurance rates. Husband said that they exchanged a few looks between them, but they said they understood and appreciated the heads up. So hopefully this saga is over. If there are any other updates, I will try and post them. What, OP? No police involvement? No revenge? Nah, I think that was handled pretty maturely. The old unspoken agreement, like, we both know what the fuck's been going on, so now you stay out of our pool. And he's like, yeah, right. And backs out. But what do you guys make of this one? I know some of you would have handled that in a different way. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit that's titled Am I the Arsehole for Getting Jeans That Won't Fit My Sister? My sister, 24 female, is really upset with me, 16 female. Recently, I bought a new pair of jeans. My normal size used to be about a 30, but over the course of a few months, I lost a lot of weight and my size dropped to about a 25 or 24 depending on the brand. My sister had always been skinnier of the two of us, so whenever she gained some weight, she would borrow my jeans because she was too fat to fit into a normal pair. At 26, my clothes were the only things that would fit her without going out to buy new clothes. Yesterday, I went to the mall with my friends and bought some new clothes because the majority of my wardrobe didn't fit me anymore. I bought a few tops, shoes, and 3 pairs of jeans. When I got home, I put the clothes to wash and went to my room. After about an hour, my sister walked into my room, visually upset, holding my jeans. I noticed that she was carrying them and apologized to her because I assumed that they were done for a while, so I was hogging the washing machine, and perhaps she wanted to put a load of clothes to wash. When I went to grab them from her, she stepped away, not letting me take them. I asked her what's wrong, and she asked whose jeans were these for. I told her they were for me, and took them from her arms so I can put them to dry. She replied by saying that they're way too small. I answered by saying that they fit me very well. I already tried them on at the store to make sure. She scoffed and said, well, they won't fit me. I blinked and replied with, sorry, I guess you'll have to wear yours. She seemed even more upset and told me about how she gained weight and can only fit into my size. I listened and shook my head, replying that I'm not her size anymore. She left in a huff and I just watched. I'm a bit confused and I'm wondering if I had said something wrong. A few hours later, she texted me that I shouldn't get used to my body right now because it was just puberty helping me and that I will gain all the weight back quickly. I don't know how to reply and I'm honestly a little concerned that maybe I was too intensive about the situation. So, am I the arsehole? So all the updates were within the same post, so to avoid, the crossing between comments and the updates, we'll do the updates first and then cover a couple of those comments. So the first update says, thank you guys so much for your comments and suggestions. I'm reading everyone's responses and believe I didn't say anything wrong. I do feel bad because maybe my words were just triggering for her. I haven't thrown out any of my old clothes because I was planning to sort through them to see what I can keep and what I can donate. I'll keep some clothes out for her and see if she wants them. I'll update if anything. The last message she sent me was a little questionable saying, you're going to get pregnant. Completely lost on that comment, but I'm assuming maybe that was for someone else. I'll give her the clothes tomorrow because I know she has some stuff to do the rest of the week and needs something to wear. I really love my sister and hope she forgives me for anything I did to make her feel bad. So the same post the next day, update 2 comes in and says, offering my old jeans to my sister was a bad idea. I brought a basket of my old clothes to her room and asked if she wanted to pick some stuff out. She seemed offended by the idea and said I was being rude and that she didn't need hand-downs. I took back the basket and she kicked me out of her room. I talked to my dad about what happened. Our mum isn't in the picture and he said to just leave her alone, so I'll be giving her space. Honestly, I have no clue what else I could have done. Also, I'm sorry if I offended anyone with my post. It truly wasn't my intention. A lot of people have messaged me that I was being a bit bratty for talking about what I was able to buy. I truly was just providing information, and I know that I'm very fortunate to afford new clothing and not be stuck with old ones. I also understand that perhaps I come off as very naive or stupid. I've seen a lot of people ask similar questions on this subreddit, and I wanted advice or any indication that I spoke out of line. I'm getting a lot of threats on here, so I thought I'd apologize to anyone I triggered. I'm truly sorry. People on Reddit threatening OP, a 16-year-old, about her jeans. Fucking get a grip, people, honestly. Absolutely not the arsehole all the way through this, and you have nothing to apologize for in the slightest. All you did was bought yourself some new clothes that actually fit you properly. You're not bratty, you're not selfish or any of those things for buying yourself new clothes, and ignore anyone who's telling you otherwise. And I had to go back and look at the ages on this afterwards, that your 24-year-old sister is treating you in this way. Absolutely disgusting. But again, you've done nothing wrong in this situation. Stop apologizing to that person. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. It's one that won't have an update in the future, I'm pretty sure of it. It's from Usual Success 7450. And I was interested in this one because I always love this sort of airplane stories. It's Am I the Arsehole for offering to sell my seat to honeymooners? I was flying from Melbourne to Dubai. I paid for a premium economy seat because it is a 14-hour flight and I want to be comfortable. The person in the next seat had been upgraded, and they asked if I could switch seats with their wife as they had just gotten married and were on their honeymoon. I congratulated him on his nuptials and asked where his wife was sitting. He pointed towards the back of the plane, in economy. I declined to switch seats. He asked if there was any way to convince me. I offered to switch if he paid the difference between the seats. It is a godly amount. I've been lucky to get mine at a decent price. It would have only have cost him 1,000 Australian dollars. He said that they were on a budget for their honeymoon. I congratulated once again and put in my earbuds. He muttered that I was an arsehole. I said he was a prick for taking the upgrade instead of either sitting with his wife or giving it to her. I told my wife about the incident and she thinks I should have done the nice thing. For the record, she hates flying in economy, so I know she would not have switched. Absolutely not the arsehole at all in this situation. I always find the audacity of these people to do these kind of things, come up to you and say, oh, it's our honeymoon, can we swap? And like you said, he had options. He could have offered the person sat down next to his wife to move up into the premium economy. Instead, let his wife have the seat if he wanted to. But he's choosing not to, instead expecting you, some stranger on a plane, to gift your pricey seat. You're total strangers to each other. Why the hell would you ever do that? But Natural Garbage says not the arsehole. If he really wanted to sit with his wife, I'm sure the person sitting beside her would have loved an upgrade to premium economy. He was essentially asking you to pay for his wife's upgrade. As a seasoned flyer from Australia who also works in aviation, I smell a rat. Presumably they booked together. They would have had the opportunity to plead their case when the upgrade was processed, either by contacting the airline prior to the day of flying or in person at the airport. My bet is that they either booked separately, so she couldn't be taken into account, or he has some kind of status with the airline. I'd also bet that the newlywed yarn was just made up for sympathy. He didn't have to take the upgrade, and you were not to blame for his selfishness and lack of planning. Blur the Least says not the arsehole at all. People who do this kind of thing are so crappy. Him trying to guilt trip you by telling you he's on his honeymoon was supposed to mean what exactly? Why were he and his wife entitled to a 1K gift from a stranger at the last minute? So their plan was to take the upgrade and try to bamboozle whoever was sitting there. They played themselves. In quotes, he said that they were on a budget for their honeymoon, and then says, what does that have to do with the price of peas? I love it when people say that stuff. Airport planning is not your emergency. They should have rejected the upgrade if they wanted to be sure they sat together. Absolutely. What does it have to do with the price of peas? Got to think about it, says Not the Arsehole. I'm so tired of people thinking they can guilt someone into giving in, even expecting them to lose money in the deal. This guy is the arsehole, and I don't think his marriage will last. He just got married and he already abandoned his new wife for the good life. His wife now knows she made a mistake and hopefully she'll get out before too long. And one more comment from Quiet with Duct Tape, who says people do this to themselves. If they want to try and steal someone else's paid seats, they better find the biggest fool. Only a fool is falling for these scams and lies. They had zero intentions to pay the price for what they really wanted. Instead, they're going to try and find the biggest sucker to believe the story they're going to spin for those precious seats they want. If you're not going to pick out a person in the airport and gift them your seats randomly, why would you do it the last few minutes on the plane? Do not let the pressure and the eyes on you give up your seats that you worked hard and planned for. Tell these people no. It's one word. Do not explain past that. Ignore them and have a nice trip. Stories like this on planes and in restaurants, it always makes me think about how much drama is going on right this second as we're thinking about this. You know, plane drama, all the planes in the sky. There's got to be some sort of drama going on right now, right? Holy moly. I wonder if we've got any air stewardesses or pilots or air stewards or anything like that down in the comments below. You must have some stories for me. Anyway, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved today, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.